Hi, my name's Julie. Today I'll show you how to set up a conversion goal in Google Analytics, plus I'll provide you with a few valuable tips when setting up goals for your website. Let's start by talking about the different types of goals. The most common goal people think of is when somebody purchases an item from a website. This is known as an e-commerce goal. Google Analytics has an e-commerce module that's better suited for tracking these types of goals. So today we're going to be talking about non-e-commerce goals. Let me give you a few examples. When someone enters their personal information for you to contact them about your products or services, this is a lead generation goal. An information goal is when someone downloads a white paper or reviews the resources pages on your website. A few other goals are signing up for your mailing list, clicking on a link to get your 800 number or calling you via a trackable 800 number, downloading a resume which can be quite valuable during a big hiring phase, and pretty much anything else on your website that you consider a goal and that you'd like to track. In order for Google Analytics to calculate goal conversion metrics, you must first define one or more goals. Very generally, a goal contains the following components: the URL for the goal page, the name of the goal, a goal value, and a funnel if desired. So let's set up our first goal. Today we're working with XYZ Landscaping. They've recently added a feature to their website that allows people to sign up for their mailing list online. They'd like to know how many people are using this feature, and so we're going to create a goal. The first thing you need to do is sign into your Google Analytics account and make sure you're receiving data. It's very important that the Google Analytics tracking code has been installed on every page of your website for the tracking to work correctly. If you haven't verified the Google Analytics tracking code for your website, or you don't have a Google Analytics account, be sure to view our tutorial, Setting Up Google Analytics for Your Website in 4 Easy Steps. So now let's get started on creating this goal by clicking on Edit under Settings. This takes us to the Profile Settings page. From here we can see we have the option of creating 4 goals. If you'd like more goals to be created for your website, you simply create another profile. Now we're going to click on Edit under Settings for the first goal and start creating our goal. Now we're on the Goal Settings page. We need to provide some information to Google in order for them to track our goal correctly. The first thing you need to do is make sure Active Goal is set to On. It needs to remain in this position in order for Google to continue to collect data. There are 3 different match types, and I'll go over each in just a moment. The goal URL is the URL that tells Google a goal has been completed. You need to give your goal a name and check the case-sensitive box if your URLs are case-sensitive, and finally assign a goal value. Now let's talk about how you get your goal URL. If you recall from a previous example, XYZ Landscaping recently added a feature to their website that allows people to sign up for their mailing list. When somebody has successfully signed up, they will be taken to this page, and the URL listed here is the goal URL. When you enter your goal URL on the Goal Settings page, you do not need to include the domain name. So as you can see here, I've only included /mail_thankyou.html. In this case, that's all you need. I've also defined my goal name. I have not checked the case-sensitive box because my URLs are not case-sensitive, and I've set my goal value to $2. Now I'm going to give you a few examples on how to compute the goal value and talk about the different match types. First, we're going to start with a leader quote example. Let's say of all the quotes that are requested online, 10% of them close, and the average transaction is $500. 10% of $500 is $50, and that would be your goal value. XYZ Landscaping has 10,000 email addresses on their list. They know from previous experiences that one email blast equals $20,000 in revenue, so their goal value would be $2 per email address. Now we're going to explain the different match types. The exact match option requires that the URLs entered as your goal and funnel URL exactly match the URLs shown in the Google Analytics report. There can be no dynamic session identifiers or query parameters. The exact match option should be used for goal conversions that do not uniquely identify visitors. For example, you might use the exact match option for a goal conversion that tracks email registrations. Note that when using exact match, that any trailing spaces in the goal URL will cause the goal conversion tracking to be invalid. The next type is head match. This option should be used if your website has dynamically generated content. For example, if the URL for a particular visitor is the same, however the ID varies for each visitor, choose the head match option. Be sure to leave out the query ID when entering the goal or funnel URLs. The final type we're going to discuss is regular expression match. This option uses regular expressions to match URLs. This match type should be used when the stem, trailing parameters, or both can vary between users. For example, if a user can come from one of many subdomains and your URLs use session identifiers, use regular expressions to define the constant element of your URL. Also note that trailing spaces are not an issue when using the regular expression match option. This is a very useful and versatile match type. However, it's quite advanced to go into full detail on all the different components of it this time. So feel free to check out the Google Analytics help menu and other resources on the internet. Now we're going to talk about another optional feature called funneling. The funnel options are just below the goal settings fields on the goal settings page. A funnel allows Google Analytics to track the progress of a conversion on your website for the entire conversion process. Such tracking can also help you understand how much time visitors spend finalizing a conversion and where in the process they spend most of the time or abandon the funnel. We're going to split this up into two sections. The first one is where you define all the steps that are leading up to the goal, and then finally have the goal URL. This will be automatically entered based on what you entered above for the goal URL. For each step in your funnel, you'll need to define your URL, give it a name, and you may also choose to select the required step checkbox. Users reaching your goal page without traveling through this funnel will not be counted as a conversion if this checkbox is selected. This option should not be used if it is possible for visitors to successfully complete a goal without going through the funnel. Now we're going to work through the XYZ landscaping example. In this example, there's only one step in the goal URL. When somebody wishes to sign up for the mailing list, they're going to click on a link that says Join Our Mailing List. They'll be taken to a page where they enter their information, and so I called this step the info page. The URL for this page is /joinmailinglist.html, so I've entered that here, and I have also decided to require this step. I don't want to count anybody as a goal unless they've been through the info page. As you can see, the goal URL has automatically been added for me based on what I entered above. And that's it. You've created your goal. Now simply click on Save Changes, and you'll be taken back to the Profile Settings page. On this page, you'll be able to see the name for your goal, the URL, the active status, and if you want to make any changes, simply click on Edit. This has been a brief introduction to goal tracking in Google Analytics. The video was created by WebShare, a full-service search marketing firm. If you're interested in our customized training sessions, including the advanced analytics courses, please see the training section of our site or contact us today. Thanks for watching!